obviously in the 90s, and somebody who probably used to enjoy watching Alessandro Del Piero. Daniel Lucci, ladies and gentlemen, is in the house. Look at him. Look how beautiful he is.
Boys, what's going on? Long time no see.
How's everything?
Can't complain, boys. All good?
Yeah,
All good on our end,
man.
That's it. Yeah. How could you not idolize Del Piero back in the day?
I'll be honest.
The flow,
I fucking
everything.
love him. I fucking love him. I even as I'm able to put my hatred for the club aside. Del Piero was just. You had to be crazy to not say that Del Piero was just a phenomenal player.
Well, between Del Piero, Totti, how could you not love both of them? Even though Totti never played for Juve. The respect, the talent, of course.
It's those types of bandiere players, right? The Del Pieros, the Tottis, the Maldinis, right? Even the Zanettis, right? Like Inter, right?
Yeah.
Like these players were such cornerstones of not only their clubs and legends of the clubs, but of the league, right? And just if you were a fan and you were watching, you kind of just had to respect them. They were class guys. Like they were, a step above. And if you didn't respect them, I think it just kind of a bit childish. The Maldinis, like I said, the Del Pieros, the Tottis, like the Baggios, like nobody could hate Baggio, even though he played for every team, right? So it's these types of players that you have no choice but to idolize,
right?
And it's funny that you mentioned that because as a kid, like obviously Roma was my first love, but my favorite player that I actually tried to emulate because I played defense was actually Alessandro Nesta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he was playing for Lazio. And actually, when Italy won the World Cup in 2006, my jersey was a Nesta jersey when they won. It wasn't even a Totti jersey.
There you go. Interesting.
I got it right before. Well, I got it right before they won, but still, like it's like Nesta was the first player I idolized because I played defense and stuff. So
Lazio player, Milan player. He never played for Roma, right? So it's you have to respect.
He played for CF Montreal. He played for the Impact.
He did.
So we could get away with that.
We enjoyed it.
That makes it okay. Yeah, for sure.
But all laughs, all good spirits. I mean, Dan 4-3 win against Inter. Like I was telling Adrian right as we started the show, like even as a casual, I think this was just an exciting game to watch.
Game.
I think it was more enjoyable for the casuals because I was every 5 minutes I was about to have a stroke. It was one of the craziest games I've ever seen. I mean, the last year the 4-4 against Inter was crazy too.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with this derby. Like it's gotten from, you would sometimes see fights in the middle of the game. Now you're seeing 7 goals a game. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, I'm not going to lie. I lost some faith there when they went down 3-2 and I'm like, hopefully we could squeak out a draw. They had a couple chances. They made it work. I don't know, man. They surprised even me. I'm not going to lie to you.
I think, I think you said it perfectly right there. I think the casual fan just was able to just breathe a bit more, just have not their heart pumping, right? Because when it's your team, it's just a different vibe. But Lucci, I'll ask you. I know, obviously, we know the result, and how much this bodes well, obviously, for Juve, and kind of puts a bit of a thorn on Inter's season at a start, at least. What was your expectations just before the match, even just to say obviously, the 4-3, and you mentioned obviously the 4-4 of last year was another crazy match. But what was your expectation? What were you anticipating maybe before the match? Obviously this pandemonium happened.
Right, yeah. I mean, maybe it was just me, but I thought we weren't going to see anything like a 4-3. I thought maybe a 1-1, a 0-0. I was completely shocked. I didn't think we were going to allow them to. We gave them a lot of space on all of their goals. Çalhanoğlu was wide open on each of his goals. Even Thuram, you can't let him have that space to score his.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was not expecting it. I did have my reservations about Tudor going into this one. We didn't have really stiff competition like Inter in the first 2 games. And I was a little worried about how he was going to handle the game, the setup, the subs. Honestly, I thought the subs came a little late in this one as well, but they did save his butt. So he should be happy. Credit to him too. He stuck with it and somehow he pulled it out. Sometimes you need some luck, as we all know. That's what happens. So we'll take it. And hopefully tomorrow now, Champions League, hopefully they keep the momentum going. Hopefully it's a team boost as well. We need some chemistry going for sure.
I'm happy you kind of touched upon Tudor because one of the questions that I had lined up was that he replaced Motta at the end, not the end, like towards the end of last season. You know, a lot of people, whether they were a Juventino or whether they're just a fan from the outside looking into, like, okay, maybe this seems to be a temporary hiring.
Yeah.
But he actually ends up staying for the team to extend his contract. It wasn't just a filler. It was actually like, you know, let's go with him going forward. I know obviously right now they're 3-0 to start the season with the 9 points, 4-goal differential, you know, like especially like, you know, they're very convincing wins in a sense. You know, Vlahovic Saga, he ends up staying, and he actually ends up being not a cancer for the team for staying and stuff. Like, was this something you fully like that you were expecting at the start of the season, or is this obviously better than what you expected? I mean, I think I already kind of loaded up the answer, but
yeah, definitely better than I was expecting. And we all expected Tudor to be gone in the summer after the Club World Cup. There was talks with different coaches, different ideas, this, that, and whatever. Obviously, it didn't work. The one thing Tudor, I will give him credit for, he's definitely brought that sense of, you know, passion and winning, and you know, he was a Juventini before. He played with the team. He knows what it's like to win and all that stuff. But that's something Motta didn't have at all. He did not have that dressing room. You know, these players are willing to die for each other by the looks of it, the way they started the season. Motta, it looks like he had a lot of guys check out on him. So he's brought the chemistry back. They look a lot better fitness wise as well, which will help with, you know, 3 different competitions, lots of games going on, multiple games a week. I am still concerned about his, you know, tactical awareness. Like I mentioned about making subs a little late and his starting lineups. We'll see how that plays out through the season. Again, at the beginning of the year, I didn't expect Juve to win, you know, finish first in Serie A anyways, as bad as it, you know, for me to say that, but we still have some holes we got to fill. But I think Tudor will have the team, you know, doing the best they can. And you know, we might lack in some areas, but the way he's got them playing is at least they have the fight, the aggression, the desire to try to come back and score some goals. You know, they in that whole game against Inter, they didn't stop fighting. So I will give him credit for that. I think he's made a big difference there. Whether we'll see what he does with some of the better coaches that come along throughout the season.
Yeah, I agree. And I just sorry to butt in there, but I remember, and you said it to open a bit before, Lucci. You know, it's kind of you guys didn't start off with the stiffest of competition, and I even know like Nick, you know, our Nick kind of had mentioned that, right? Like after the international break, like the first true test, you know, even though we always say there's no easy games in Serie A, you know, the first true test was Inter, right, in the derby. So I think, you know, they passed the test. Obviously, it was by maybe the skin of their teeth. Maybe, you know, they got that 65, right? They just passed the 61, right? They just passed, but at the end of it, you know, you get away with the 3 points, and I think that's what's massive. But I know we kind of have a lot of different questions, but I just wanted to ask you, Daniel, what's you know, with all the acquisitions that they've made as well, because I know. Maybe I don't know if it was the Mercato you were looking for or not, but some of the acquisitions that they've brought in, and I think just getting back, we mentioned this I think a couple weeks ago, getting back Bremer.
Yes,
I think Nick said it was kind of like a new signing, if you will, right?
Huge
in the back.
Yeah.
What's been your kind of your take on maybe some of the new faces, and maybe just some of the old faces that maybe have started off the season well? Obviously the biggest name for us Canadian Calcio fans is Jonathan David, right? In a Juve shirt. Were you excited about that, or was that something that you kind of just looked past and said, okay, well, it's another striker, another help in the offense? And I know our boys at the Footy Culture kind of got to interview him as well. So what's been your take on obviously David coming in and just the other acquisitions?
I like the David signing. I don't think he can be the number 9 himself. I think he needs someone to play beside him. I think that'll help him a lot because we see with Canada, he usually plays in a front 2, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he's not your prolific number 9 that's going to do all the work and score you goals. He's going to do a lot of teamwork, though, as you can see already in the first couple of games. A lot of link-up plays with Yildiz and Conceição and you know, Cambiasso or whoever else was around. Completely different than what Vlahovic brings. So already we can see a huge difference there. Yes, Vlahovic started against Inter. I probably wouldn't have done that again. That was Tudor's call. Maybe he wanted something a little different. But he didn't have a good game either against Inter. So What I've seen from David so far, I like him. Hopefully he gets a little more involved. We'll see. I'm assuming he's going to start tomorrow against Dortmund in the Champions League. I think that'll the more he plays with new players, the more you build that chemistry, how the tendencies of each other, I think that'll help him a lot. But I'm looking forward to see what he can bring. Openda, I'm excited to see what he can bring from.
He got his debut, no, I think, right?
Yeah, he came on for about 20 minutes, whatever it was, towards the end there.
Yeah.
Didn't get to see a lot of what he can do. Obviously, it was a chaotic end, so he wasn't fully involved, but he was there. So I'm assuming he'll get some minutes tomorrow too. I'm excited for those two particularly. Zaragoza, the guy they signed from Lille, who played with David for the past few years, that'll be good too. I think the both of them have a bit of chemistry and know each other already, so that should help the team. When healthy, he looks like a good player as well. I don't know him too much, but I will say this: the attack is a lot better than it was last year. It looks a lot more versatile. You have different profiles on the players, whether that's on the bench or starting. So I'm hoping that will help us. We'll be able to stop 2-3 goals a game. I don't know. We'll see how the defense holds up. That's still a question mark, but it's not how it's not how I thought the Mercato was going to go. But Comoli, he made some smart and strong moves. I will give him credit. So hopefully they pan out.
Yeah, and I mean, you said it well before. Jonathan David usually plays in either a 4-4-2 or sometimes they flex around a bit. They kind of go for on the fly. They could change to a 3-4-3 and Team Canada. So I think he does do better when he has a secondary striker, guy up there to work with. And I mean, Vlahovic sticking around is actually a good thing for that. I feel like as if probably them two together would be strong. I think this game, though, they didn't try to go to two-man front. I had it open somewhere. It was a 3-4-2-1. That's what I see over here.
Yes. Yeah, that's usually what Tudor likes to play.
3-4-2-1, yeah.
Whether he sticks with that now, because now you got Openda, you got David and Vlahovic, who all can kind of play that 9 role. So if he wants to get two of them on the pitch at a time, he might switch to a 3-4-1-2 with Yildiz behind them kind of thing.
Yeah. But I like how they're all, again, just looking from the outside, they're all different. Like those three attackers that you named, they're all different profiles, right?
100%. I like that as well.
Yep. Jonathan David, Dusan Vlahovic, and Luis Openda there. They're all different profiles, which I think can give different, different strong points to the game, right? So
depending on who your opposition is, you can give a different lineup. Yep, exactly. So
I agree.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it pans out. Again, still early in the season, so lots of games left, lots of injuries potentially. Every team gets bit with that.
Exactly, and you have those options, right, to come off the bench,
which will help, right? So I'm intrigued. I'm optimistic, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And I mean, from what I've noticed, the common trend is that each game, as you said before, to attest to what flexibility Juventus has, it's always another player stepping up, whether it's Vlahovic, whether it's David. But one player that I've noticed that has been super constant for them this year, I mean, I think it was going to be part of the discussion with Kenan Yildiz. Last year in 35 apps, he has 7 goals, 4 assists. This year in just 3 appearances, he already has 1 goal, 3 assists. He almost ties his assist count from last season. How good has Yildiz been this year for Juve?
The first 3 games, he's looked like another player, like he's on another planet. I'm hoping he started off well, and I'm hoping he can take that next step onto, being that dynamic game changer that we desperately need. Obviously, last year was his first full season in the league, so there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be some, again, the whole situation with Mata, maybe not using him properly or not having the best relationship, whatever the case may be. But I'm hoping this year he takes that next step, and it looks like he's going to. Hopefully he can stay consistent. I know we talked about Champions League, Coppa Italia, Serie. There's a lot of games in there, so there's going to be a time where you fall off, you lose that that touch, you're fatigued. It's going to happen. So hopefully he gets some rest here and there. He's going to need it, but we definitely need him. So
I also think because right now everywhere you turn, everybody's really. I think really, I don't want to be saying in a negative way, but he's getting a lot of hype right now, right?
Yes,
I think people should, calm a bit down, manage your expectations with him, because the last thing this guy needs, being so young, is that, like you said, Lucci, he has a bad game, he starts getting fatigued, he gets an injury, and now he's not performing like he was, and then everybody's gonna rip him to shreds. Let the kid be, let him play, let him be free. You know, we see that one with like a Nico Paz, right? Like we like to say in this league, you know, he's a lot of people glaze these types of players, but like let's manage expectations, let them play.
Right.
We know they're talented.
Yep.
Let them go. Obviously, they get a lot of coverage because they're so young in this league, and you know fans go crazy very fast. But that's the one thing I would say for a kid like Yildiz, because the talent is there, right, guys? It's there. He has shown it so far. Let him continue. Let him grow because he's still young. He still has room to grow, and I don't think he's a perfect player. But with time, I think he can. Listen, he's wearing the number 10 for Juve. We opened this segment with Alessandro Del Piero, right? So that's a heavy shirt to wear, right?
It is
the 10 at Juve, right? A lot of legends have worn that shirt, in recent times. Obviously, Del Piero. So let the kid do what he has to do. Let him play. But I think another player that has kind of been an engine, and obviously this derby it could have been, instead of Derby d'Italia, it could have been Derby di Turam, right? Because it was the Turam, it was the
I was about to bring that up.
It was the Turam show, right? With both Marcus and Kefren scoring. Another staple for you guys, I think, has been a Turam. Just looking from the outside in, he's kind of been I don't know, maybe one of those midfielders that I think Juventini have been crying for a long time, that they've needed for so long, post Pirlo, Vidal, Marquinhos era, right?
100%.
But obviously, what have you made of, I guess, Kefren Turam, and just matching his brother? It was just a great moment. Obviously, the ref cam. I don't know why they introduced this. that famous that photo with both of them looking a bit.
That was great. That was
Mezza Stunad, the Mezza lost. Like it was just funny, man. But
that'll be a meme for years for sure.
It will. It's gonna be probably the cover of this episode. So we'll probably have to include it. But what have you made, obviously, of Turam, and just I guess maybe we can go round table, but just the impact by both of these guys in this derby was huge.
Whoa, my bad. I'm just gonna cancel that for a second. That's not the photo I wanted. Let me just stop presenting.
What is that, Johnny? Your love letter? What is that?
No. All right. Sorry about the little mishap. What happened was I thought I saved the photo. When I clicked on the file, it actually ended up being the letter of explanation of a gap of my graduation degree for Ontario's.
Yeah. It was a love, Johnny. It was a love letter. It's okay.
If only it was a fucking love letter. Because you'd be like, why was there a gap in your education degree? I'm like, because I swapped programs halfway through and had to do the extra 3 years.
Yeah. Love letter. Okay.
Anyways, but now we managed to find the photo of the Thuram brothers on the ref cam.
Oh my God, amazing photo.
I think this is like honestly, it's gonna be forever a legendary photo in my eyes.
No, it's a meme. It's a meme for life.
You mean you got the famous photos of, like, what was it, Materazzi and Gattuso just looking at the flares of the Derby della Madonnina?
No, that was the Dida and that was Rui Costa. No, sorry, that was Rui Costa.
Rui Costa and
Rui Costa and Materazzi. Sorry.
Yeah. You got the argument between I think it was it Adriano and one of the Juve players. The fuck, it was that incident where there was supposed to be that slide tackle and the ref didn't call it, but he called it the other way. And now you have the Thuram brothers just trying like, what's going on?
Like what the fuck? It's like a what the fuck face. It's hilarious.
That's exactly what it is.
No, but honestly speaking, if the father's Lilian, right? Thuram?
Yeah, he was in the
Lilian. Yep. Yeah, like if you're the Pops, like you have both your sons scoring a goal in this matchup, you get a moment like this. Like, how proud can you be of a dad in this situation?
I mean, how could you not be? And he's probably even ended the game happier because Juve won, and he played for Juve. So
yeah, no, he was
the team he wanted to win for sure.
I mean, let's take it easy. He's Parma first. No, I'm just kidding.
Fair enough. But yeah, Kefren, ever since he joined last summer, I guess it was 2 years. Yeah, it's been his second year with Juve. He's been a great player, and he's continuing to get better. Still young as well, but he's an absolute unit in that midfield. So I think he's going to continue to get better. He finally got his first France call up a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, whatever it was. I like him better than his brother, obviously. So I'll stick with my boy for sure. No, he's great, man. He's the way he moves, great defensively, scores the odd goal. He's try to get him off the ball. It's like moving a tank. He's a great player, no doubt.
Right. He's all over the place, and I
Yeah.
think you can contribute, like you said, just to bounce off your point, Lucci. You can contribute on all fronts, right? Like he literally both goals by both Turams were almost like the same type of goal, also, right? Like kind of an in swinger in header. It was almost like a deja vu. It's like you saw like Thuram score, and it was like, wait, which one? And it was like literally the same goal. So no, listen, I think. As an outsider, like looking at a guy like Kefren Turam for Juve, he's been a key cog in that midfield. So I think I still don't understand how Locatelli wears the armband for you guys, but you guys, it's he adds that midfield mix that I think games are won and lost in the midfield, like I usually like to say.
Sure.
So. Him being there, I think is obviously a plus for Juve, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
So Juve starting 3-0 to start the season, which is very big because there's a lot of question marks and things up in the air, And one thing that you alluded to was before earlier was Conte possibly maybe making the jump over from Napoli to Juve because he is a Juventino at heart. Conte, this is no secret. Everybody knows this, but ADL managed to throw enough money for him to stay. So you guys going forward for Champions League, okay, let's stick with Tudor. And speaking of which, tomorrow is going. You said it is tomorrow, right? I'm not stupid.
They play tomorrow, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Dortmund.
Dortmund. God, it's true. It's Monday today. I always said because we always record on Wednesdays. That's why. Tudor's managing his first game. I think I read somewhere since like 2022 in Champions League against Borussia Dortmund, which you guys haven't played against them since 2015 in Champions League or something like that.
Probably something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. How confident are you going into this matchup right now, or like what are the vibes for like looking into this right now? Like,
see, I want to be confident, but this team has let me down far too many times for me to be overly optimistic. You know what I mean? Because
especially in Champions League.
Exactly. Times last year where they'll go in, play a great Serie game, and then go lay an egg in the Champions League. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen tomorrow. Dortmund is a good team. I was just reading their injury list is like 10 players long. So they're missing a lot of players. And some good ones. Emre Can, I think Julian Brandt is hurt, and there's a few other ones in there.
Sure.
Not as well known as the two, but they're at home. Juve's at home.
Yeah.
I would expect us to, if we place even just half the way with the fight and the desire we did against Inter, I think we can put a one or two behind, in the net. And again, my concern is keeping it out. We look shaky at times in the back, like I mentioned, against Inter. Led into 3 against Inter. Yeah, okay, you still won the game, but 3's too many. Far too many, too much time and space on the goals that they allowed, especially outside the box for Çalhanoğlu to hit those goals. So I want to say they win. I really do. But I'm a little nervous. I could see a draw. I wouldn't be surprised if they draw. I don't think they're going to lose tomorrow. I think they have a good enough team where they should be able to beat Dortmund. And I believe historically we have done pretty well against Dortmund. So I'm optimistic. Cambiaso's back tomorrow as well because he's not suspended for Champions League. So that'll be a good help as well. And like you mentioned, Adri, Bremer has been a beast. It's like he hasn't even missed a full year after tearing his ACL.
Yeah.
That guy's just a great player. So hopefully he continues that. Although I don't expect him to play every game. You can't expect someone who's been out a full year to play all these matches back to back to back. So he's gonna have to rest at some point. But keep him coming, for the time being until you can afford to give him a rest. So
yeah.
We'll see how tomorrow goes. I'm optimistic. I don't want to be too optimistic, just in case. I want to jinx myself, right?
There you go. Yeah. No, I get you. You mentioned kind of like shaky in the back, and do you? And yeah, I saw some mixed reviews on Di Gregorio. Sorry. Still confident in him, or is this just just one of these things that listen, you had in 3 goals. It was just one of those games. It was going to be a crazy game, and. Or, because I think he's been good, but I think he's had some of his moments, his blunders as well. Like, what do you make of him?
I can't blame him, really. I don't think I can blame him for any of the 3. Like I mentioned, you give Hakan with the shot he has that much space outside the box, he's gonna put it on net. Whether Di Gregorio saw it late, maybe didn't see it at all. There was a lot of bodies in the way. Hell of a hit on both of them. Again, Thuram's getting a header at the penalty spot, wide open free header. I'm putting it more on just defensive lapses and just too much time and space. I have no concerns with Di Gregorio. I still think he's probably he should be on Italy. I personally think he should be 2 or 3 on Italy ahead of some of the guys that are there.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion. And I can't. Yeah, he hasn't cost Juve any points, any goals that he's blatantly should have had. Where before him, Chesney there, I would say there was a few games where he looked like he was just lost. So no concerns with the goalkeeper. I have a little concern with Gatti at times, with Kelly at other times. Locatelli, as much as I love him, I don't know if he's going to be able to handle, playing all these games, all the competition. He's going to have to get some rest too. But a great warrior. But Tudor has to, I think, clean up some of the defensive areas if we're gonna make any progress in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think even just in general, I think for all competitions, I think
absolutely.
Defense is like the midfield. I think is another key point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think no, it's okay. I think it's going to be a very interesting match to watch. If people want to watch it on TV, if they have Telelatino, if you're Canadian, you can watch it there. Or
if
on
not
Unimax,
the Zone, right?
The Zone, yeah.
The Zone has it. Apparently, even like Paramount Plus has it too. I mean, yeah, for the Americans, I believe.
For the Americans,
yeah, they can get it there too. So they'll have options. We'll all have options to watch it. Should be an exciting game. But Lucci, we thank you so much for coming on.
Wait, I had a couple more questions.
A couple more. Yeah, a couple more.
Sorry,
right,
Lucci. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay, man.
Yeah.
That's way.
You know what? Fire away, because I was done. I was ready to.
It's kind of like the same type of question, but just before we wrap up, I wanted to say is your expectations like for the team. I know obviously the hot start is a positive one.
Yep.
I know like Nick has mentioned on our show in previous years and even just opened this season. Like, I don't know if fighting for the Scudetto is in their grasp. I think they could be there, but I don't know if they're like clear, favorites to kind of maybe run away with the thing. But just as a whole with the 3 competitions, where do you kind of see this Juve fall in each of these kind of Coppa Italia? Okay, well, Coppa Italia it's going to be what it's going to be, but more the Serie A and Champions League. Like, what's the success for Daniel Lucci for Juve this season?
So I was a little more pessimistic going into the start of the season, but watching this team and the way they're able to fight through certain games and situations and stuff like that, I'm a little more optimistic now. Do I think they are the clear favorites to win the Scudetto? No. Do I think they're clear favorites to go deep in the Champions League? Also, no. But I do think they will do better in the Champions League this year. They should get at least a round deeper. Again, you have Bremer back, huge. The offense is better.
Yeah.
It looks like a better team chemistry going on with Tudor there. Again, tactically, we'll see what he can do against some of the tougher coaches and the tougher teams. When it comes to Serie A, I mean, with these additions that they have, with the depth they somewhat have now, especially in the attack, top 3 should be almost a must. It should be I wouldn't say a guarantee because nothing's guaranteed and injuries happen and this whatever. But top 3, looking at the competition right now, Inter's had a tough start. Napoli is undefeated, but they got a little lucky in the who did they beat 1-0 2-3 weeks ago?
2-3 weeks ago. Oh my God!
Just before international break,
wasn't it? Just before
it was Cagliari.
Yeah, wasn't it?
At the end.
So like every team is have their struggles.
Yeah.
Losing Lukaku is a huge one. So I think Napoli is probably your toughest competition going into the season, just with Conte and how he likes to play certain things.
Yeah.
Again, a lot will depend on how they do, and with Champions League as well. That's we know how Conte is when it comes to more than one league during the season. He struggles a bit, so he might fall off a bit there. Milan, sorry, Adri, I don't see it. I don't see it in that team. I don't know.
Okay.
Rabiot, great. I don't know. trust
So
me,
far, so
you'll
far,
see
so
some
good.
of the frustrations with Rabiot with that Juventini had for the many years that he was with us.
Yeah.
Very inconsistent player from what I saw with him. Maybe he's a little different now. I don't know.
Hopefully.
For your sake, yeah, I hope so. But yeah, like it's sad to say, but Serie A has fallen so hard over the past, 5, 10 years, whatever. The competition is not what it used to be. The players, that they were able to attract compared to now is not what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the 90s, like Serie A was top. Everyone wanted to play in Italy. Now it's a struggle to get players in their prime to come over. Not only because they want to, but the money they're getting offered in Spain or England or Saudi or whatever, just they can't compete, unfortunately. But yeah, I could see Juve fighting for the Scudetto. I think there's an opportunity there. Just looking at the opposition around us, I don't think they're that much better than what we have. Do they win it? I think they fall just short this year, but they take a good step in the right direction. And yes, and Coppa Italia, there's no excuse for them not to go deep in that tournament, as usually they do, except last year again, disaster. But yeah, there's no excuse for this team not to do well. They've spent the money. They've brought in players that are capable players, and they've done it at previous teams. Coop Miners has been very disappointing, to say the least. Vlahovic is another one who's been disappointing.
Especially with the dollar value that you guys spent.
That's what makes him so frustrating, is that they paid him
both
all
of
this
them.
money. Both of them. But Vlahovic making 12 million or whatever, that's absurd.
It's absurd. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't think he'll be back next year unless somehow he takes a massive pay cut, going into next season.
He won't leave because
no one wanted to offer him that kind of money.
Nobody's going to offer him that money. He's like,
I understand.
Why would you say no? Like, he might as well stay and earn your bag, and nobody's going to pay. Nobody in this league is going to pay him 12 million. If he wanted to go elsewhere, that's a different story.
You would do the same, wouldn't you? Someone's offering to pay you half. You're gonna leave your current job to go make half? I don't think so. So I can't fault him like that that. I can fault the former management that offered him that kind of fucking money.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
For sure.
It is what it is. Hopefully he when he does get some minutes, he does something with them. He scores the odd goal like we've seen in the couple previous games.
Yeah, first two.
There's options there. Let's get it done. I know it's early, but we've seen some good signs, and hopefully they continue.
Was this all the stuff that you're echoing right now? Is this what you kind of were saying maybe before the season started, or has things changed since the beginning of the year for you?
Going into the season, I was a little worried about keeping Tudor, to be honest with you. I thought, a better coach, a more tactically aware and diverse coach would make a better difference. But he's surprised me a little bit. I know it's still early. It's only been, again, we played Genoa, Inter's not at their best. We'll see how they do with the next teams that come up. It's a long season, so 1 week, 2 weeks bad, a couple bad weeks in a row, then you're back down the ladder. So hopefully he keeps these guys mentally fresh, mentally aware, and who knows? Maybe he knows something that I don't, and he's got the right knack for it, and he's doing well with this team. This is the team he was meant to coach and do well with, because with other teams, with Lazio and Marseille, he's been around. Yeah, he hasn't done anything special. So we'll see if this one can last. But
well, listen, it took, and again, I don't want it to sound like carbon copy for Milan, but it took a guy like Stefano Pioli, right? That didn't really accomplish too much in his career. He was kind of that journeyman. He was good. He was a decent manager. He was good.
Spalletti was one
right?
with Napoli, right?
Never really won, besides in Russia or what have you. But and it takes sometimes these types of managers to come around and maybe work some magic. And like you said earlier, and we've said on this show many times, Lucci, it takes a bit of luck, right?
Yeah,
at the end of it takes a bit of luck. The things have to go align in your favor sometimes, and it kind of is what it is. But I'm still on the fence for Tudor, just as an outsider,
I agree
because we're singing these praises, and it's match day 3. Let's
Right.
talk. Let's talk when it's match day, 23 or 33, right at the end of the season. Let's see how
Exactly.
things have changed.
People like Juventini and myself included, where when
Yeah,
Juve went down 3-2, we were a little concerned because he didn't make any subs or he made them too late. He looked like we were defending for a large parts of the game,
yeah,
sitting so deep. We as soon as we went up 1-0, we were already defending, and we still had 85 minutes to go. So like that stuff worries me a bit. Hopefully he can adjust on the fly as the opposition is different, the teams are different situations, so on and so forth. But yeah, I still have my concerns with him. We'll see. That's why I think Juve will fall short in pretty much all the competitions. They should do well just based on the players they have, but
sure.
maybe the coach is just missing that little extra notch, that tactical genius that brings them to that next level, right?
Yeah. No, listen. I think in our previous show, I don't remember, Jenny, where you remember where you had them, but I think I had them around 4 or 5, if I'm honest with you, Lucci.
Okay.
I thought because last season, I know it was a bit of a weird, wacky year, obviously with the coaching change and everything,
Yep.
but they had to play catch up right near the end to really kind of. It was 1 point, right, between them
Too
and
many
Roma, right?
drop points, to lesser teams. That kills you.
Exactly. All the draws, right? It
Yeah.
was like what, fucking 13, 16,
It
whatever.
was, yeah, it
It
was
was
wild
a
with a
ridiculous
large
amount,
stretch in the middle. Yeah, you
right?
can't if
So
you want to compete with the top, with Napoli and Inter, you can't be dropping that many points. It's just
no,
it's that
those
simple.
draws need to be wins. It's
Yeah,
just, it's as simple as that. And listen, I think, like I just said earlier, like I mean, it's match day 3. Let's calm again. Like I said with Yildiz and just other points, right? Let's just calm down, right? It's only match day 3. Like I think it's a positive for you guys because I don't remember how you guys started last year, but I don't think it was.
Well, this is the first time in I think 5 years or so that they've won the first 3 games of the season.
Right. I was
Something
thinking
like
something
that. Yeah.
similar. Yeah. So
So it's
it's
early, but it's positive signs at least.
yeah.
At least
No,
we're not. If we're already concerned at 3 games in, then we got a problem. So at least we're not worried about that.
no, for sure, and I totally agree. But listen, which I think we can talk about this stuff all day, but
Absolutely.
we'll I think we'll end it there, Jenny. Unless you had anything else to add in there, but
No, not really. I think we
we
basically
touched
covered it all.
upon. I think we try to touch upon everything. Obviously, a big game for Juventini tomorrow, like we said. Champions League against Dortmund. So tune in for that. So Lucci, we've had you on. I don't even know how many times now.
I've lost count, but
I
it's all
lost
the time.
counts. But in case somebody any of the listeners have forgotten who you are, what you do, what you're a part of, the floor is yours, my friend. To plug away all the great work you do with All Juve Cast.
Yeah, join us every pre-game, post-game, live matches at the AJC. Me, Alberto, Luca, Skanga, Tony Trims, the whole crew. We try to get as much content as possible, and we're diehard Juventini. So if they're not playing well, you're gonna hear it. We're gonna tell you straight. That's for sure. So follow us on Twitter, on X, sorry. Follow me at Lucci AJC. And Forza Juve. What can I say, man?
No, but
It's gonna be a
guys,
long season.
it will. So if you're Juventini, but even if you're a casual, right? I always like to say this for these team specific pods or shows or content creators. Even if you're a casual, I think you should tune in, follow along. I always like to plug. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm a Milan fan, but the Milan Weekly Podcast, the Raf and Raf rant. I know for Napoli, you guys at AJC, those guys, for I know there's other people doing other content for other clubs. So I think you should still tune in. Just get a different opinion, different view.
Absolutely.
It doesn't hurt to kind of broaden your horizon a bit, right? And I always say this, but not only because we have you on that I'm saying this, because besides yourself, and we've had some of your other partners on the show, it's good people behind the content. So guys, if you haven't already, follow AJC on all socials, the YouTube lives. I know they get good numbers. They're always doing a lot of good work, covering Juve at depth, in length, every week it seems like. So I'm always seeing your stuff. So guys, we'll give them a follow for us, like we say every week. Follow us as well. at the Calcio Guys on all social media platforms. It really does help us a lot. For the audio version of the podcast, on all your favorite podcasting platforms, you can find us. Rate with 5 stars, leave a comment there. And for any video content similar to AJC, you can follow us. You subscribe on YouTube. Sorry, put the post notifications, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Yeah, and we'll be back next week to talk a lot more Calcio. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Ciao.
All